Simple steps to fat loss. Number 2, stop slathering all kinds of toppings on your food and cut the condiments from your diet. Now, I'm not saying to completely cut out all condiments and toppings from your diet, but we need to make substitutions because one of the biggest problems people make when dieting is making huge changes too fast. It's not sustainable, and then they don't stick with the diet. You might lose the weight, but then you gain it right back when you go back to eating normally. But instead, what we need to do is make small changes that will add up to big results over time. And after drinking calories, the next thing that adds up really fast is toppings people put on their food. And for some reason, people don't track this stuff. I don't know why. You start tracking things but think, oh, you know, that ketchup, that salad dressing, that whatever, it's not that many calories. But let's take a look at how that can really derail your diet if you're not accounting for it. First thing we're gonna cover is dressings, because people eat salads because they're thinking, hey, this is healthy food, but then they slather it with dressing and wonder why they're not losing weight. So let's see, this is your classic ranch. Who doesn't like ranch? My wife doesn't, but you know, most people do. But let's look at that, 120 calories per serving. You're getting a salad, if you make a good one, it might be 300 calories. And now we're adding a third to that, but probably even more, because if you notice, 29 grams for a serving. You're probably not measuring that out, but I've done it before. It is easy to do twice or 3 times that if you're putting it on a large salad. So you could literally be having the same amount of calories in your dressing as your salad. So what can you do? Just a simple substitution. Instead of having this classic ranch, let's go with the light version. And when we look at that, now we have 70 calories per serving. And it's even 32 grams, so that's 10% more dressing you can have, and it's almost half the calories. So right there, we're cutting a lot out. But you can go a little further. Rather than having that, let's cut out that. And look at this, raspberry vinaigrettes. Usually vinaigrettes are gonna be lower in calorie. So this, we have 60 calories. So now we're even 10 calories lower than the ranch. It's the same 32 grams, but we can take it one step further. This is the normal raspberry vinaigrette. Let's go with the light vinaigrette here. And we take a look. And now we're all the way down to 30 calories per serving. So 120, where you're probably having 2 to even 3 times as much, down to 30. So you could be going from 300 plus calories down to 100 at the most if you're doing 3 servings of this. When you're using these vinaigrette types, a lot of times you don't even need as much because there's so much flavor in it. It's a little more watery and you don't have to put a ton on there to get it like ranch. So 30 calories, that is a huge difference. Paying attention to the types of dressings that have lower calories is really gonna help you out if you're having salads to be healthier. So let me know down in the comments what your favorite type of salad dressing is, and I'm willing to bet there's probably a version out there that has at least half the calories of what you're already eating. Now, just to drive the point home a little more, let's take a look at a Chick-fil-A salad. I eat there a lot, and here you've got a market salad with chicken, 320 calories. That's a pretty low calorie meal. But let's look at their dressings. Avocado lime ranch, 310 calories. That's literally pretty much the same amount of calories as in the salad itself. So you're doubling the calories just by choosing that dressing. Garden herb ranch, 280. Creamy salsa, 290. So 3 different dressings that are around the same calorie count as the salad itself. So you're getting double the calories as you think. And people think like, oh man, counting calories doesn't work. I counted them and I'm not losing weight. But they're not accounting for that dressing. And I've seen people put 2 of these on. So your 320 calorie salad just turned into like 950 almost, because you put 2 of these avocado lime ranch dressings on it. And so when I get salads out at places, I always go with some kind of balsamic vinaigrette or light Italian. As you can see here, light Italian, 25 calories. Light balsamic, 80 calories. So, you know, it's easy to cut those calories there, but if you're not aware of it, they're gonna add up really quickly. So then let's move on to different type of toppings people put on all kinds of stuff. Let's look at ketchup. So we got here, you know, your typical Heinz ketchup, and it's not too bad, you know, 20 calories per serving. 17 grams isn't a lot. Like I'm eating on a hamburger or some fries, you're probably putting like at least 3 times that amount on there. But you know, 20 calories, it'll add up over time as you keep doing more. Same thing, let's look at the no sugar added version. Now we're down to half the amount, 10 calories instead of 20. So for the same amount, you're cutting the calories in half. And that might not seem like a lot here, but say you had a salad earlier. Now you're having something with ketchup. We're cutting those calories with everything, and over the long haul, they add up to a lot. Same thing with barbecue sauces. This barbecue sauce, 70 calories per serving. I like some barbecue sauce on a hamburger. tastes really good. But it's very simple to get the no sugar added version again. And what do we have here? 15 calories per serving. So we went from 70 to 15. That is a huge difference. You may say, oh, that doesn't taste as good. With a lot of these things, you start cutting the sugar out of it. Yeah, you're used to so much sugar, so it's not gonna taste the same, but after you eat it for a while, you get used to it. Then you have like the full flavor sugary stuff, you're gonna like, whoa, that's too much for me. So you'll adapt to these healthier versions of these condiments that you put on. And then, you know, there's other stuff like mustard's not really a big one. It's really low in calories, so that's not a problem. But same thing with mayonnaise. I think mayonnaise is disgusting, but you can cut a ton of calories out of mayonnaise if you're using it, if you use the light version of it. And pretty much any type of sauce that you can find is gonna have some kind of sugar-free or light version of it that's gonna cut down significantly on your calories. And just to drive that point home one more time, let's take a look at getting some chicken nuggets at Chick-fil-A. 250 calories, not bad. There's a good amount of protein in this. But we scroll down, look at that Chick-fil-A sauce, 140 calories. Polynesian, 110, ranch, 140. And I see many times someone gets, you know, an 8 count of nuggets, maybe even a 12, but then they get 2 Chick-fil-A sauces or 2 ranches. Well, just by eating those 2 sauces, you've doubled the calories in that. I think these have plenty of flavor. I would rather get 2 of these and just get a lot more protein and be more full, rather than eating over 200 calories extra just on sauces that I'm adding to it. So again, you can get used to eating stuff without all the flavors added, or just pick something that doesn't have as much, like buffalo sauce, 25, hot sauce, 0, mustard, 5 calories, ketchup is 35, so that's a little bit better, but again, you know, that little ketchup packet's 35. So that goes to show, if you're squirting a bunch of ketchup on your plate out of one of these bottles from a big Heinz ketchup bottle, you're probably getting like 3 packets worth there, so that's 100 calories. But if you're getting the light version, now it's only 50 calories. And again, let me know down in the comments what your favorite type of topping is, whether it's for fries, hamburgers, hot dogs, steak, you name it. Chicken, let me know. That is the simple step to fat loss number 2 that'll help you to start cutting calories out of your diet without really having to change much of what you're doing. First step, we talked about drinks. You can cut a ton of calories out by just having sugar-free stuff or water, and then with these condiments, you can cut even more out, and you'll literally be eating the same type of foods, but start losing weight because you're cutting so many calories out that were unnecessary that you didn't need to have. But if you have any questions about this, diet, training in general, put them down below. Let me know, hit that like button if this video is helpful, and hopefully, I'll see you soon.